Imagine a choice that could change your life forever. A game that tests not only your survival, but your moral compass, your understanding of freedom, and the very essence of happiness. Squid Game is more than a global phenomenon. It's a mirror reflecting our own struggles, fears, and desires. At its core, Squid Game forces us to confront some of life's most profound questions. What does it mean to make choices when under pressure? How does the human spirit respond when morality clashes with survival? And what can a brutal competition for wealth teach us about the structures of society and the meaning of life? In this exploration, we'll dive into the philosophical themes embedded within Squid Game. Through the ideas of great thinkers like Jean-Paul Sartre, Immanuel Kant, Aristotle, and others, we'll seek not just to understand the show, but to uncover what it reveals about ourselves. Let's take a slow, thoughtful journey beyond the surface of this gripping series. At first, the players in Squid Game believe they are entering a competition with high stakes and life-changing rewards, but they are unaware of the deadly consequences. Once the truth is revealed, they are given the chance to leave, only to return voluntarily, driven by desperation and the crushing weight of their circumstances. This raises a profound question. Can a choice made under extreme duress ever truly be free? This dilemma echoes Jean-Paul Sartre's existential philosophy. Sartre argued that humans define themselves through their choices. Even in dire circumstances, he believed we are responsible for our actions. Yet, when external forces like poverty weigh heavily, can we still claim to have free will? Or are we simply products of our environment, pushed into decisions we'd never otherwise make? This tension between choice and coercion invites reflection. Are our lives shaped by true freedom, or are we trapped by invisible forces we rarely question? As the series progresses, we see the players wrestle with morality. Alliances are formed, trust is betrayed, and acts of kindness are overshadowed by cruelty. What does Squid Game tell us about human nature? Thomas Hobbes believed that in a state of nature, a world without societal rules, life would be solitary, poor, nasty, brutish, and short. His philosophy suggests that humans are naturally self-interested, driven by survival instincts. The competition in Squid Game often reflects this bleak view. Immanuel Kant, however, held a more hopeful perspective. He believed humans possess an innate moral law, a duty to act ethically regardless of personal gain or loss. The show challenges this ideal by placing characters in situations where survival often overrides morality. So what does Squid Game reveal about us? Are we at our core selfish creatures, or can we hold on to morality even in the direst circumstances? Beyond survival, the players of Squid Game seek something more. A chance at happiness, a way to escape their dire realities. Yet the cost of their pursuit is devastating. This raises a universal question. What is true happiness, and what price is worth paying for it? Aristotle believed in eudaimonia, a life of flourishing achieved through virtue and wisdom. For him, happiness wasn't about material wealth, but living in harmony with our highest potential. Conversely, the players in Squid Game are trapped in a capitalist system that equates happiness with money, exposing the emptiness of such pursuits. Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor and psychiatrist, offered another perspective. In his theory of logotherapy, Frankl argued that life's meaning is found not in pleasure or wealth, but in enduring suffering with purpose. His insights remind us that even in the darkest moments, meaning and inner peace are possible. Squid Game forces us to confront this. Is happiness rooted in external rewards, or is it something deeper and more resilient? The world of Squid Game is a stark critique of societal failure. The players are victims of a system that perpetuates inequality and despair. What happens when the structures meant to protect us become the very forces that destroy us? Philosophers like John Locke and Jean-Jacques Rousseau explored the idea of a social contract. Locke envisioned a system where individuals surrender certain freedoms in exchange for protection and justice. Rousseau, however, warned that inequality could corrupt this balance, turning the contract into a tool of oppression. In Squid Game, we see this breakdown. The players enter a contract, believing in fairness, only to discover the system is rigged against them. It's a reflection of real-world injustices, where the powerless are often exploited by those in control. This invites reflection. How just is the society we live in? And what happens when the social contract fails to uphold its promise of fairness? Death looms large in Squid Game, not just as an outcome, but as a constant presence. The players face their mortality daily, forcing them to confront what it means to live under the shadow of death. Martin Heidegger, a German philosopher, spoke of being toward death, the idea that acknowledging our mortality is essential to living authentically. For Heidegger, the awareness of death sharpens our understanding of life's value and pushes us to live more purposefully. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, offered a different view. He saw death as a natural part of life, something not to be feared but accepted. By embracing its inevitability, we free ourselves from the anxieties that bind us. In the high-stakes environment of Squid Game, death becomes a lens through which to examine life. What does it mean to live fully, knowing our time is finite? And how can this awareness guide us to a more meaningful existence? At its core, Squid Game is a scathing critique of capitalism. The players are reduced to commodities, their lives valued only as entertainment for the wealthy. It's a world where humanity is secondary to profit and power. Karl Marx described this dynamic as alienation, the dehumanizing effect of a system that prioritizes production and consumption over individual well-being. Herbert Marcuse later expanded on this, highlighting how consumer culture traps us in cycles of desire and dissatisfaction. The games in Squid Game expose the darkest side of this system, a society where people are disposable and wealth becomes the ultimate measure of success. Yet, it also forces us to ask, in our own lives, how much of our humanity do we sacrifice for material gain? Squid Game is more than a dystopian thriller. It's a philosophical challenge, urging us to question the systems we live in, the choices we make, and the values we hold dear. It shows us the fragility of human morality, the complexity of free will, and the elusive nature of happiness. But perhaps its greatest lesson lies in the mirror it holds up to our own lives. In a world driven by competition, consumption, and inequality, what truly matters? Are we, like the players, caught in a game we barely understand? Or can we, through reflection and purpose, create a life that transcends the systems around us? The answers aren't simple, but in pondering them, we may come closer to understanding not just Squid Game, but ourselves. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more philosophy of pop culture.